Welcome back to my channel, Outdoor Zulu here. We're here going to be talking about another item on that list that you may have received from a Scoutmaster you just talked to. You joined a troop and you've got this long list of gear that you might have to buy. Well, I'm here to help you identify some of the more common and useful items on that list instead of going out and buying the expensive gear. Today, we're talking about mess kits and water bottles, what to get and what to avoid. Stay tuned. We're going to start off with mess kits. Now, you don't have to go out and buy some expensive gear at some of those stores. You can if you want to, but if you're still trying to figure out if your scout's going to be enjoying this type of activity, then let's go with some simple budget items here. Now, you can even find stuff that you may already have existing in your cupboards. If you've got some IKEA kids, dishware set, that's totally fine. Some plastic plates that you've got from some holiday theme, that's totally fine too. You want something durable and cheap, especially if they lost it or if they break it or if they actually get it mixed up with someone else in the patrol. So in Troop 615, the scouts cook on their own and they also clean on their own. So they cook and clean as a patrol. So what they'll do is they'll set up a dish line and that they'll have 3 different buckets for washing, rinsing, and sanitizing. And they usually kind of all the mess kits get bundled into the end of for a drying rack kind of thing. So you also don't want to find something that is common that everybody wants because might get home with another scout. But let's start looking at some of these a little closer up. Let's first start off what is not a mess kit. A mess kit is not paper or styrofoam. This is just actually a waste of resources. You want something that your scout can wash and use over and over again. Our troop I've been in the troop since 2015. And we've only used paper products for 2 events in those times for special circumstances. But for your scout, you're going to want something more that they can use over and over again and handle continuous washing. So let's get into some of those. So we're going to start off with an evolution of what mess kits I started to carry. Now, I got this when I first joined the troop because I wasn't quite sure what I was looking for. I found this at Dick's Sporting Goods. It came like in a nice mesh bag. It's got some silverware here, hard plastic, durable. It will melt in the dishwasher. Be careful of that. And it came with a cup, a bowl, and it came with a nice plate that's got a little bit of a lip to it. Now, I used this for a few years, actually, and it worked just fine. I think it might have been maybe a little over $10 at the time. It worked out just fine. But I realized as I got more experienced, and actually this is what I would probably expect from a brand new scout, is just something as simple as this, and it works perfect. But as I started realizing that, look how much space this takes up in my pack, and I was looking to carry something a little bit lighter and space saving in my pack. And so I transitioned to another type where I went more silicone based. Now this actually, I've got 2 big little compartments here, and it folds out nice and flat, and it will be a lot safe space in my pack. And I've got a nice little lid here and a place to put the ever popular spork. And I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. I'm sure everybody knows. But I realized that this really wasn't covering all of the bases that I wanted to cover. So I used this mainly on backpacking trips for a while, but I've moved on to something a little bit different. Actually, kind of a hybrid. So I've actually gone to this is actually Sea to Summit. I like the plate with a little bit of a lip in case, I'm actually most of the time eating on my lap or a small table, and I wanted something so I didn't spill as much. So I got this separate. So you kind of bought things a la carte. I also have a silicone-based bowl that I can flatten up nicely. This is actually pretty popular, so I actually try to put my name on it because I believe another person in our troop has it, another adult, and so it gets mixed up sometimes. And then for a cup, a simple silicone-based collapsible one. So I use this here for obviously for my cold drinks or some of my hot drinks sometimes. And then I actually still use the utensil set from my original one. Sometimes this does get mixed up because these are quite popular. In fact, you can buy them singularly at stores. So I might be transitioning to something a little bit different. I'm not a fan of the almighty spork, but some people do because they want less weight. And I'll show you some of those now. Now, my daughter in the troop has a Light My Fire mess kit, and you can find these at a lot of different camping stores online. They're fairly inexpensive. It's triangular shape. It usually has, she's probably already lost it, it's a rubber band that goes around it to keep everything closed in place. But you can actually flip this over. This becomes a plate. This is actually more of like a bowl. You see it's got kind of a lip. There was also some other things in there, I think a measuring cup and like a little triangular cutting board that actually I've hijacked and put into my backpacking gear. She likes the spork, and it actually kind of fits into here as a little utensil holder for when she's sitting down and trying to move from place to place to eat. And then it also actually came with a little collapsible cup that she uses for her drinks and for hot and cold drinks. And she loves this. This is plenty enough for her. So yeah, you can check this out for your Scout. However, these are really popular, so you may want to find a color that is like hers. I don't think anyone else has a pink one, but they come in lots of different colors, and you can find these on sale. Now, I've also got one similar from some other Scouts that I've borrowed. So these are also acceptable here. We have a simple aluminum plate that's got a little bit of a lip to it, a plastic bowl from Andy, who I borrow from, and he's got some nice metal silverware that link together so he doesn't lose them. This is perfect for all the needs out there on our campouts. We also have here, I believe this is from his son, and this is from UCO Wear, where it's got a nice little rubber band, and it actually flips around to hold his spork, and a kind of plate bowl combination. It's fairly lightweight and works really well. Takes up just a little bit of space each one of these takes just a little bit of space. So these are all really good examples as well. And I've got another pair here to show you. Okay, here's another few examples of some simple mess kits but highly effective. We've got one here that's very similar to my Sea to Summit. I think that's also a Sea to Summit one, where it's a nice plate that you can use. It's got a little lip to it. That's nice. He's got a nice little cover here to hold everything in, but he has also got you could use this as a bowl if you wanted to, or some kind of cup. These are pretty popular. I recommend these because they take up hardly any space. They're not very heavy at all. And he's got a simple spoon from probably the silverware drawer at home. That works out just fine. And then we also have one of our adults famously carries around a Frisbee. Really, that's all. Look, it's probably found it in a toy box at home. And it works just fine. I've seen him eat chili and all kinds of dinners out of here. And then he has like this really cool spork that unscrews. Also, it's got a knife in here too. It's really lightweight. But for silverware, I've seen steel, plastic, titanium, bamboo, etc. So any kind of silverware and things right out of your silverware drawer at home works just fine. So these are some pretty easy examples that you can just find to put together for a mess kit. So we can check that box off for the Scoutmaster list. Now for water bottles, it's quite easy. Your student probably already has some to take them to school. That's totally fine. If you might have something around the house that you use to go to the gym, that's probably totally fine too. But now let's go and take a deeper dive into what some of my scouts bring on campouts. So just for some comparison's sake. Now, for the most common type of water bottle that I've seen scouts carry around on our campouts are the Nalgene size. Now, I'm sure they probably already have this for some sports or they're taking them to school, but you can find these anywhere. They're nice wide mouth that often connect to some water pumps and other water filtration devices. They also got usually some markings for amounts if they're trying to pour in specific amounts for a meal or things. You can get these in clear plastic, hard plastic, etc. They're quite durable. But they are heavy. So on backpacking trips, some scouts actually elect not to take these and find other types of containers. But by far, these are probably the most common that that scouts bring. For the Portland metro area, you can get these at Fred Meyer, Target, Sportsmans Warehouse, Sierra Trading Post, Next Adventure, Andean Backs, any kind of camping or even athletic store. So yeah, this is another check mark off the Scoutmaster list, but let's talk about some other options too. Now we showed you Nalgene's, but there's all kinds of other water bottles that Scouts bring. So this is more of a stainless steel with insulated here, so help kind of keep their hot stuff hot and cold stuff cold. But really for water, it's just going to be holding water. So if they don't mind the extra weight of an insulated bottle, they certainly can bring that. When I first started, I had this just really simple, I think it was like a $2 water bottle I found at some store. I had a couple of these, but I found that they weren't as durable and they don't hold as much water. For an actual weekend camp out, we generally have water available from where we're going. And so I can kind of refill this over and over again. But if I'm going somewhere more backpacking, I'm going to take something a little bit bigger like the Nalgene. I also have scouts who just decide to go with more lightweight plastic, and they bring a larger size water bottle and just continuously refill this all weekend. Smart water bottles, as in like the brand Smart Water, are great because they're a little bit durable plastic bottle. But please, use it over and over again. So find a good way to wash inside here with brushes or something like that, so you don't build up some bacteria. And if you're also going to just use this for once and bring it back from a camp out, please recycle. Put that in your recycle bin and send it off. So that's another check mark off the Scoutmaster list for your scout to start going camping. All right, that finishes up our installment of mess kits and water bottles. I hope you found this informative. And so it'll give you some tips on what to go if you need to go shopping or just go rummaging around through your cabinets at home. So stay tuned for some of our next episodes where we tackle more items on that list that you just got from a Scoutmaster and you're figuring out how do I even get some of this stuff. Stay tuned.